Wake up, hit snooze 4 times, grab your phone, open Snapchat, then Instagram, scroll to the bottom of the feed, go on TikTok where you can't get to the bottom. Then after 2 hours of mindless consumption, you finally roll out of bed. You get nothing productive done for the rest of the day because you fried your brain first thing in the morning and your focus is scattered. Later that day, you stay up until midnight and start the cycle again, only now you have school tomorrow. This should scare you. This is what my days used to look like when I had social media on my phone. And if you're watching this, I'm sure it might be similar to your experience. If you want to stop doom scrolling, be able to think more clearly, and be more productive, then keep watching. I'm making this as a follow-up to one of my previous videos about life without social media because there were a lot of really good questions, and I just felt like it needed another video to kind of explain how to do this. So I'm just gonna kind of give you the protocol that I took that helped me. I didn't even really know what this whole dopamine detox thing was when I first did it back in January. I just got inspiration from another YouTuber, Jack Denmo. He just kind of said to delete social media, so then I did. And then from there, I was kind of in like a full-on dopamine detox. So this video is kind of just what I've done over the last 10 months that has kind of helped me get more good dopamine and less cheap dopamine, achieve more mental clarity, have more time to do the things that I love, and rewire my brain to delay gratification. To start this off, we have to talk about the intention. Now, after spending years on these platforms, our brains are wired to seek instant gratification. So this is not going to be easy and you're not going to see results right away. You can't reset your brain in 24 hours like the clickbait videos tell you you can. This damage is chronic. You can't quit for a week, then go back onto it and then expect something to be different. In fact, I don't think you should quit social media at all. It's the wrong mindset. So I guess this is not really a regular detox because we're trying to take back control of our lives. So quitting forever isn't the answer, unless you really want to, but I'll explain what I mean by this later. It took me literal months to actually reset my brain and start making actual progress in the things that I wanted to. And it took me even longer to be able to get significantly better at reading things, paying attention to people, and just being more mindful. This is the lifestyle change. So if you intend on fixing your life in 24 hours, then this is not going to help you. You need to be in this for the long game. If you want to develop a healthy relationship with social media, or you want to just quit it altogether, then this is going to help you. So how do you set up your phone for a detox? Because it's not just abstaining from it. There are certain actions that you actually have to take in order to do it. Because just deleting social media isn't going to be enough. You're still going to have the urges to go back onto it. So there's other measures that we can take to prevent you from just being addicted to your phone. So you need to silence all of your notifications. Especially since I know some of you probably are going to keep maybe 1 or 2 on your phone for whatever reason you may have, even though I recommend that you don't. You need to at least have the notifications off, and you need to go into it with the mindset that you're going to go on those apps when you actually need to check them. And this will prevent you from getting distracted by your work and getting sucked into something that's just unimportant. So turn off email, random promotions, and notifications that don't serve you. In fact, you can keep your phone on Do Not Disturb all the time. But if you don't really have notifications, then it doesn't really matter. If you're an iPhone user, then there are settings that allow you to choose if contacts can bypass your Do Not Disturb mode and send you notifications anyways. So that is an option. So if you need to talk to your mom or your dad and you need them to reach you, then they can reach you. You just need to set it up in the settings. So I don't want to hear any excuses. Next, set up a schedule on your phone that automatically locks you out of all your apps by a certain time. This won't keep you from using the apps completely, but it'll at least act as one barrier between you and scrolling. For me, it's a really good reminder that it's time to wind down at night and get ready for bed. I have mine set for 7 p.m. because I go to sleep at 8. So from 7 to 8, I don't use any screens. And all my apps are timed out on my computer, my iPad, and my phone all at the same time. If you're an Android user, there are apps that can do this. One app that I do recommend that is on iPhone and I believe Android also is called Stoic. Not sponsored or anything, but I do have this app on my phone and it does lock out all the apps when I want it to, and it'll let me back in them after a certain point in the morning. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that app can do later. Okay, so now we are going to put our phones in black and white. Grayscale. Hold up, watch this. Yeah, you don't like that, do you? Yeah, it's ugly, disgusting. It's all black and white, 2 colors. It's boring. You don't want to watch this, do you? Imagine if all my videos were like this. Would you want to watch them? No, because it's ugly and it like bright colors. They look like candy to us. So on the YouTube page, videos are going to have really bright colored thumbnails because they want you to click on it. But if you have your phone in black and white, you're going to be less likely to click on all those colorful apps. This is really good for what we're trying to do. It's not going to completely stop you from using the apps if you really wanted to. It's going to make it less enjoyable. It's also going to serve as a reminder for what you're trying to do. If I go into my phone and it's black and white, then I know that there's a reason why it's black and white, and it's because I'm not supposed to be scrolling on it and doing unnecessary tasks. So next up, you have to delete all your social media, kind of. So delete any socializing app that you use on a daily basis from your phone. Some honorable mentions. TikTok is the first one that has to go. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, and Facebook if you're a geezer. These ones, in my opinion, are non-negotiable simply because of their short form content structure that is more likely to lead to you doom scrolling. Now, before I hear any objections, remember, your brain is what got you into the situation in the first place. So don't sit here and act like you have the willpower to keep certain apps on your phone when your brain is conditioned to indulge in instant gratification all day. You need to be realistic with yourself on if you can actually keep something on your phone. Some people say that they really need to talk to friends or certain people on these apps. And okay, I understand, but if that's getting in the way of things that you need to do, then you need to make a serious choice. But I'll talk more about that in a moment. So the easiest way I would say is just to delete the apps from your phone. You don't need to deactivate your accounts or anything like that. I didn't, but just at least have them off of your phone for now. Now, this isn't just about intention. We're all addicted to our phones. Now, I know I said that intention was important, but it's not just about intention. Think about it. When was the last time you went on TikTok because you wanted to see a specific video, or did you do it out of habit because you were bored? Think for a second. Do you remember the last tweet, Instagram post, or TikTok you saw? Probably not. You're habitually using these apps even though it's not what you really want. The reason why these apps are so addicting is because of the anticipation in your brain. When you anticipate something, your dopamine rises, which gives you motivation to act. Drug addicts get a dopamine hit when they see and anticipate a substance, not after they take it. Now, I'm not calling you drug addicts, but what I'm saying is that you get a dopamine hit when you anticipate that the next TikTok is going to pique your interest. But you don't know if it's going to pique your interest because you can just scroll right past it to the next one. So you're anticipating it even more. It's almost like gambling at a slot machine. So for this detox, you're getting rid of the bad habits, mindless consumption, and replacing them with good ones, mindfulness and delayed gratification. I figured I would dedicate a small section to this topic since people like to argue different sides about this. So YouTube is a social media, and I'm on YouTube right now. You're on YouTube right now. YouTube is just a special case where you need to be honest with yourself. Some people that I've talked to have mentioned that they kept YouTube on their phones and they were fine. They still saw benefits from doing the detox. Others said that they just replaced all that time they were using on other social media apps with YouTube. If you spend a lot of time watching YouTube Shorts, then you need to delete this app too. If you binge watch videos non-stop, then you should probably delete it also. The way that I went about it was I switched up the way that I use the app. I transitioned from watching short, quick tip videos and even just shorter videos to long form videos and full length podcasts and lectures. In fact, 99% of the time that I'm watching YouTube, I'm actually not watching the video. I'm just listening to it. What I found is that you don't actually need to watch most content on YouTube because you can just listen to it. And this helps you to not want to look at the next video and just kind of focus on what you're listening to. So I'll put on like a long Andrew Huberman podcast or something, and then I'll just put it on and have it in the background, and then I'm listening to it and I'm taking notes on my little notepad. I do this while I'm at work. I won't be tempted to, scroll to the next video or anything like that because my phone is on black and white, so nothing's grabbing my attention, and then I don't actually see the next video or go to the comments because my phone is off. But like I said, you have to be realistic with yourself. I think that for some people, YouTube can be really good because you can learn so much. And if you plan to replace social media with something productive, you might want to use YouTube to fuel that thing. For me, it was building a YouTube channel, and I was getting into real estate, and I was, just learning how to start online businesses and learning just all my new hobbies, If you know that you're going to replace social media consumption with just straight up YouTube, then you should probably delete it too. at least for a while, because what works for me might not work for you. But keep in mind that I'm not in charge here, and I'm not here to argue about, if you should delete YouTube or not, or any other social media. I'm just giving you my recommendations. So don't comment about how YouTube is social media. Don't waste your time. I don't want to hear it. So can you keep social media if you have a business? Yes, but not on your phone. So let me explain. So I have a business, and YouTube is part of it. I also do one-to-one coaching calls where I help people with self-improvement. So I need to use social media. So like I said, YouTube is social media. It is what it is. I'm not denying it. The solution I have for you content creators is to try not to have the apps on your phone. I have Twitter, Instagram, and a TikTok account, but I don't have them on my phone. I strictly use those on my computer and sometimes my iPad. If you have a computer or some kind of device that you can use those on, then strictly use social media on that device when you're working. What I do also is that even when I'm on my computer, I actually have to look up the apps in Safari to get to them. I've honestly been kind of slacking in the short form department, but it's just because I don't really enjoy using those apps as much as I did before. I like making these longer videos. Unfollow accounts and people that don't serve you. Unfollow meme pages and subscribe to like-minded people that are in your niche that you want to emulate. And this is how you go from consumer to creator. I have brand new accounts that promote my business and my channel and I haven't even bothered to check on the old ones. So don't use your business as an excuse to mindlessly scroll online, because you don't have to. You can scroll your life away, or you can use social media to build your future. So which one are you going to choose? So what if I get lonely? Unfortunately for this one, I'm just gonna have to hit you guys with some harsh truth. There is a unique loneliness that comes from being disconnected from people in the world when you're not on social media. And I went the far extreme by doing it for essentially like 7 months, and then I kind of still am disconnected because, like I said, I don't really use the other apps as much. I'm just usually on YouTube. When people ask me how I deal with it, I usually say the same thing. You learn not to care. If your relationships cannot last outside of social media, then they weren't solid to begin with. So if your friends are really your friends, then they wouldn't stop talking to you if you didn't have social media, and you would do the same thing to them. If you can keep in touch, which I'm pretty sure isn't hard because most of you guys probably have cell service, then do so. And if it's not working out, let them go. If you're on a trajectory for greatness, you cannot let other people slow you down. I feel lonely sometimes, I cannot lie, but at the same time, I also have the most mental clarity I've ever had in my life, and I'm making more progress in everything that I want to. It's give and take. I'm not saying this because I don't have a solution. This is something that I'm still dealing with right now. I don't have the same people in my life that I did this time last year, but I'm okay with it, because things change. If you have meaningful relationships with people that you can keep outside of social media, then that should be sufficient. And if you really need to, you can tell these people, have a hard conversation with your friends and tell them that you're going to be going off social media for a while. Like I said, if they're really your friends, then they'll understand and they won't bother you. But loneliness isn't the only thing you're going to be feeling during this detox. You're probably going to feel anxious, bored, stressed, and uncomfortable without being able to use your phone whenever you want to. You start to realize how much you were actually using your phone every day without realizing it. You're going to have to use the bathroom without it, make conversation with people instead of sitting in silence on your phones, eat your food without scrolling. You're going to have to sit with your own thoughts sometimes. Can you imagine doing that in today's age? A couple people sitting in a room, not on their phones, just talking to each other. Your mind is wired to habitually pick up your phone during these moments. And these moments are the most important for resetting your brain. You have to be okay with being bored sometimes, because that's how I built up my mindfulness. Now when I'm, waiting in line for something, or waiting at the doctor's office, or just pumping gas, or, on the toilet, or whatever it is, I'm not using my phone because I'm being mindful. These are the moments where you're really fighting off your urge to use your phone, and you'll start to see progress. So what are you going to replace all this extra time with? Well, I think it's completely up to you to decide what you're going to do with this extra time. However, I think that replacing instant gratification activities like social media consumption with other instant gratification like TV and listening to music kind of defeats the point. That doesn't mean that you have to sit and stare at your wall for hours either. Use this period of time to have some self-reflection and experiment with trying new things. There might even be some hobbies that you had in the past that you want to try again. For me, one thing that I did was I started playing guitar. Now, I stopped playing guitar swiftly after that, but recently I've been getting back into it. But I also tried going to the skate park again and scootering and skating and just riding my bike around, just all different types of things. There are some things that I do recommend that you do that will improve your life and actually help you with resetting your brain. Lots of studies show that physical activity triggers a release of dopamine and serotonin, and over time, exercise remodels the reward system in our brains, leading to higher circulating levels of dopamine and more available dopamine. So this is a perfect example of good dopamine, because you're getting something good in the long term. You're getting short-term pleasure and long-term pleasure at the same exact time. And exercise can also improve your mood, make you physically healthier, and rewire your brain to delay gratification all at the same time. So try working out, or you can go on a run or a long walk. And if you want to start going to the gym, you should check out my full guide. If you want, you can even pair exercise with some fun things like playing sports. I actually started rollerblading again. I go almost every weekend, and it's been one of my favorite things to do. And I'm starting to learn a lot of new tricks and things like that, and it's just so fun. I love doing it. I met so many new people there, and I talk to them. I learn how to do tricks from them. It's a good way to socialize too, when you just get outside and just do something active. It'll help combat some of that loneliness. Start journaling. Look how sexy this journal is. Anyways, journaling can help you with mental clarity by writing down your thoughts. It can also help you build self-awareness, relieve stress, and draw out creative ability. And it can help you solve your problems. I used to think it was really weird to keep a journal growing up, and I never saw the point of it until I had nothing to do with my life besides drown in my own thoughts after deleting social media. When you have a lot of free time and you tend to overthink things, journaling is a great way to get all those thoughts out of your mind and onto paper so you can look at it from a different lens. I made this a habit by trying to journal right before I go to sleep every night. I don't do it every single night, but I try to do it as much as possible, especially when there is something that's on my mind. You can just talk about your day or just whatever you're thinking about in life, literally just anything. Sometimes I'll write about what I'm reading in the book. You can even journal about how you're doing on your detox. Maybe at the end of the day, just write down how your day is going, and it'll be a good way for you to track your progress. Now, there are plenty of good journaling apps out there, but I recommend that you do it on paper just so you don't get distracted. But if you do want to use it on your phone, then there is an app, like I said earlier, called Stoic, and there are journal prompts in it and things like that. There's meditation exercises, and it also has that screen time feature that I was talking about earlier that'll shut down your phone at a certain time. Third thing that I highly recommend for anybody to do is to just go outside and get into nature. I'm not saying that you have to go on a hike, but you could at least go for a walk in the park. Just go and relax a little bit. Whenever I notice that I'm spending too much time in my room on my computer just typing away like a nerd, I'll take a physical book and I'll go to the park and I'll just sit down and read. I just keep my phone away from me and I just relax. I enjoy the fresh air and I think about life. You'll start to see how beautiful all the trees and the animals and the grass and everything else is in your area when you aren't buried in your phone. Sometimes I'll just go to the park and I'll sit there for an hour and a half, and I always feel better after I do. If you are able to, try it after you're done with this video. You will not regret it. So you can honestly do whatever you want with this free time. Just try to use it to do new things and see what you love. I might not have started this channel if I didn't have so much extra free time to do it. Now most of my free time is dedicated to working on this channel because I'm passionate about it. I don't have time to scroll on social media because I'm too aligned with this project to do anything else. So my best advice here is to become obsessed with something. So how long do you need to be on this detox? So I'm on the more extreme side. I still haven't downloaded these apps on my phone in 10 months, but I honestly have really no plans to either. I don't really have a reason to. Whenever I do need to use them, it's strictly when I'm working and when I'm on my computer. So I've kind of just completely eliminated my want for these apps. I actually have to remind myself to go onto them, but you might not be able to do that right away. I've been doing this for almost a year now, but there's also no prescribed amount of time away from social media that's going to fix your life. But a good way to think about it is to take some time away from social media for a couple weeks to a month, and then try to reintroduce them into your life if you're ready and if you're willing to. Before you go back, you need to ask yourself, does this serve me? Do I have a good reason to introduce this to my life again? Will I be able to control my impulses and stop myself from wasting time? If the answer to any of these is no, then wait a little longer. If you do decide to go back and you notice that you're slipping back into the cycle, then start again. And you can do this for as many times or for as long as you want. You might come to find out that you don't want to have them at all. If social media doesn't serve you and you realize that you you don't find value in a certain app or all of them, then you don't need to have them at all. I'm not anti-phone and I'm not against social media. I think that these can and should be used to better our lives and help us do the things that we want to do. And you can find so much useful information on social media too. I wouldn't have started my YouTube channel and I wouldn't have known that I can share my ideas online without it. But too much of anything is a bad thing. So essentially, you don't need to remove all dopaminergic activities from your life forever. You just need to be mindful of what you're spending your limited time on earth doing every day. So use this detox to take some time away and reflect on what you want out of your life and come back stronger when you're ready. So that is how I reset my brain this year and ended my phone addiction with the social media detox. I hope that I was able to give you an idea of how you should go about this yourself. If you want to talk to me one-on-one about the subject, if you need help setting up your detox or have any more questions for me, I do one-to-one coaching. The link is in the description. You can check that out. Also, we have a community of like-minded individuals who are also doing this. It's a Discord, so you can check that out below in the description. But don't join it and then waste all your time on that either. Also, if you are going to do this detox, then when you're done, come back and then share your experience with people in the comments so they can know what to look forward to and get tips on how to do it better. You might find better ways to do this than I have. So if you do, I want you to share them. So that's all for now. Thank you for watching. See ya.